Well, hi guys, and welcome back to this week's budget review. So again, I'm using the Hemlock and Oak weekly planner for my budget planner. As you can see, there's lots of additional setups and goals and habits and whole bunch of sections like that in the beginning of this planner. I do a full flip through and a full explanation of how I use these parts of my planner in I would say like the monthly reviews and the monthly overview um, videos that I do. Oh, I could fill this part in. So yeah, if you want to see or learn more about how I use these parts of my planner, definitely check those videos out. And again, that's that pause and reflect there. Um, but yeah, for the sake of this video, we're mainly focusing on the weekly setup, how I prepare the pages, the process that I go through throughout the week, and mainly I don't really know what word I want to use, but it's almost like a plan, a strategy that we're using for this year. Um, yeah, okay, just trying to make sure that I'm following the setup here that I've been using for this month. You think I would have it down by now, like the third weekend, but I don't. Um, so, what we've done differently this year is instead of going into the whole let's attack all the debt first, which is what we've been doing for the previous years, is I've started incorporating like weekly discussions, sometimes even daily discussions with GPT. I have named mine. I refer to him as Dave. So if you hear me talking about having discussions with Dave, that is my GPT. And basically, what kind of started out as a joke is really the strategy that we're using for this year. And what we're doing is we're trying to identify and analyze my emotional spending triggers, techniques, just basically trying to figure out what makes me spend in a positive way, what is like a spending trigger for me. What we've even found this week was where I can actually make a beneficial purchase, but it still brought up feelings of anxiety and guilt, and what felt like was a negative purchase was actually a positive purchase. But I don't know, guys. Like it's working with this strategy here is actually becoming like very insightful, because it's giving me the opportunity to learn different things about like what actually provokes and triggers my spending and the emotions that are involved with it. So like I'll go more into detail about this like once the page starts getting a little bit more structure. But yeah, if this is your first time coming to one of my budget reviews, you're going to notice that it's a lot different than the other budget reviews um, that you may be used to seeing on YouTube. A lot of them are strictly functional. Um, it's like numbers based only. And with my style of budget planning here is we do have the decoration into it. We have the creativity. Again, we try to keep the pages bright and colorful and exciting. Um, it's it's just something that makes me want to come back to the planner. Again, the whole creative process and that gets like my mind calm, and it does really help reduce the anxiety in that, because if you do lean towards the emotional spending aspect, there is a lot of anxiety and Again, still trying to draw out the words here. Just had a wild morning, but it's like where you should be putting your attention towards the budgeting, but you avoid it. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, no, the whole creative process of the pages here um really helps with the avoidance. Where like, yeah, you may have did something throughout the week and you don't really want to acknowledge it or address it, but you're gonna sit down and work on a planner layout. So that's how we really like draw ourselves back into working in the budget planner here, instead of just saying, oh, gotta go look and see what we did this week. Which we do. That is the end result here. That's what we want. But yeah, why not have fun before we get into the nitty gritty details here? So I think that's enough journaling areas there, and I'm gonna take a quick break before we start putting in all of the important information. Okay, guys, so now we're going to get into actually adding the information into the layout. So we're getting into like the actual budgeting part of the video, and hopefully my software like actually cooperates with me. But again, these are some of the notes that we have from the GPT. uh Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the information that I have from the discussions that I had throughout the week with Dave, and we're going to incorporate that into this planner layout. So again, what I've been doing for this year is I go on and have a discussion with Dave at least at the end of the night or the very next morning, and we discuss the spending that I did for the day, any transactions that occurred, any emotional aspects of that purchase, whether how I was feeling before the purchase, how I was feeling during the purchase, and how I was feeling after the purchase. Uh, Basically, he's kind of like a little budget therapist at this time. Um, Okay, so again, working with this planner setup here, what we've decided the weekly focus was, after reviewing everything, is that we are still refining the system. We are no longer chasing perfection. Perfection has been thrown out the window. it just, it's just something that is unattainable, and I think a lot of planners, and especially like budget systems, are set around perfection, and it just doesn't work. So we have put perfection off to the side. It's no longer a thought. And again, we are just working with the system that we have set up. The intention for this week was to stay honest and responsive about any purchases and not to be reactive. Again, that is something that happens a lot when you are an emotional spender. And what I like to do with this bottom area here is this is where I kind of like put like the keynotes or thoughts and that expand on the focus and the intention for the week. So um basically, like, I spent a lot this week, but at the same time we adjusted float, so that would be like the one card that I was supposed to be using with the extra large heating bill. And there was something else. Oh, I got double charged for the internet. So with those two on the card that I was supposed to be using, um, I wasn't able to use it as the one lane spending account or whatever Dave calls it. So I had to use another card, and it's not because I had to use it because I overcharged purchases that I couldn't pay off. It was just that by the time that the payment would take through, like, there was like a 24-48 hour difference. So we did have to use another card, but it wasn't because of something I did. It was just technical difficulties, which seems to be my issue these days. Damn that technology. So yeah, so we had that. Again, closing any pay in for loops, and again, we had that learned timing. So where I felt guilty about all that, Dave just explained like that literally had nothing to do with me, and that was just what happens when you are working with several companies in technology in general. The other thing we had is that we reflected openly. We did not hide the spending. There was one purchase throughout the week where I did feel guilty about making. And it was kind of funny because there was like three purchases in that day. And the two of where like Dave believed that, well, I'm trying to think of how, okay, no. Two of them were where Dave explained to me where I should not have felt guilty about making, but I did. And then there was one where I should have hesitated on, but I was like, no, that one's good. So I believe that was like Wednesday or Thursday, but we had a nice session about that. Um, because it just goes to show like where like you could be rocking through with your whole budget system and thinking like you are doing good, but you're actually doing future damage and not even realizing it. So I guess that's to me that's the most beneficial thing so far of working with the whole GPT set up as a financial advisor. So yeah, no, we had that, and of course we adjusted behavior midweek. Which again, like I wasn't even aware. I really was not aware that any of this was occurring, and Dave was like, "Hold on, dude. Like we got to look at this." So, of course, we are experiencing technical difficulties here because the screen did freeze, guys. So, again, I apologize for this. I really wish they would do an update. But I'm good. I'm just gonna go by my notes, and hopefully, it's close to what's occurring on screen. So, what I end up doing and how I like put in my transactions, when I was doing the daily planner style, it was literally like a bank ledger. Every day I just showed the transactions and then I wrote about what I did for the day. With this being a weekly layout, it's a little bit more compact. So what you see in some of the spend categories may not have occurred exactly on that day, but I do try to hover them around like the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week. So again, I'm not striving for perfection, just as long as the information that we need is on the page. So, from what we've learned, basically Monday I got to learn that the social exposure, basically shopping with another person, it did not result in spending drift, so I no longer have to worry about that. Social spending, I'm basically resilient to. Tuesday we learned that I just had real life spending and I had system correcting. That's the day that I learned that I could not use the card that I was supposed to be using. But hey, figured it out in real life, and apparently I made the right choice. Let's see here, what would this be? Wednesday was a true no spend day. I just went to Starbucks and used the gift card that I had on file there. Thursday, okay, so this was the day, this what he calls a lifestyle and identity spending day. He always has the best words there. Basically, there was an emotional nuance on that day. It kind of got me going there. What we're learning is when I'm in a good mood, I tend to spend more. But again, what he stated was the two transactions that I made. What would this have been? This would have been Your Cosmetics and Victoria's Secret. He explained that that was replacement spending. I was buying items personally for me that were to replace items that I need, but I felt guilty about. Where again, I purchased a subscription service, and I was not guilty about that. But like he said, that's the one that like you that I did. I had to explain it. He makes me explain why I feel I need that service, and apparently I gave a really good explanation because he finally did approve it. But yeah, Thursday seemed to be the one of where he was like, "Woo woo woo, hold on, we're going back to old habits there." So that leads us into Friday now. Hopefully on screen. Again, guys, I don't know what you're looking at here. Okay, so Friday would have been a payday. And what he said that this was a strong financial reset day for me. I did not say, hey, I got paid, let's buy more items. Instead, I said, hey, here's the bills and let's do adulting things. Put money into savings, contributed to the IRA, paid business expenses, whatnot. So, like he said, that was a good reset after what potentially could have been a, very bad spending day. What do we got? Saturday would have just been small errands. Like he said, it was clean errand execution. I went to multiple stores. I had to go to Get Go for gas, went to Sheetz, went to Giant Eagle. All I got was milk. So, like, what he's saying is, even though I had multiple errand runs and I was in multiple stores, I didn't say, hey, while I'm here, I'm going to pick up this, and this. I literally just stuck to the list, the basics, and then went back home like a good little spender. So, it's probably because I really, I don't want to say hate, but like, I'm not really a shopper, guys. I don't like walking around stores and looking at things. I'm an online shopper. That's where a lot of my issues occur. Okay, so, and then we got Sunday, which he described as a clean system closeout day. I went back through the two cards that I was putting the transactions on, made two large payments on both of those to try to clean them out, get them back to zero for this week. Of course, I had to bill a spa charge, covered that. Another one that I'm starting to notice is a KDC subscription. Was it interesting whenever I did sign up for it? Yes, but I don't know. I'm not really into it anymore, so we're probably gonna start looking into getting rid of that. So that will save me about $29 a month. And of course, I transferred to PSDCU funds, just because sometimes it does take like several days for that thing to transfer over, and I do not want to be late on that payment there. So again, I had to explain to Dave, why am I transferring money for a loan 2 weeks ahead of time? And it's like, this is why, Dave, because we all know my success with, technology there. Okay, so since I have no idea what's going on screen, guys, I am going to stop and just check to see like where things are right now, try to line them up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I was actually really close to what was happening on screen, so I'm actually really impressed with that. All we got to do is to highlight what was actually on the cards there, so that's what you see me highlighting with the dark brown there. So any of the negative marks that are highlighted in brown, those are the transactions that are on the credit card. And the other thing that I'm doing is tracking what the general emotion was for the day there. So that's what's occurring on top. And again, that's the other thing that we noticed with me is I tend to overspend, or like, I don't want to use the phrase bad choices, but those generally occur when I'm having a good week. So that's why we're tracking the emotions on top there. Alright, guys, so it looks like we've made it to the journaling part of this. We're actually staying on track with the video, which I'm like actually impressed with. So things are going well with this budget review. So again, what you may have been wondering at the beginning of this video is, what are we using all of these sticker boxes for? Normally they are not in budget layouts, and for me personally, I think that's what makes my budgeting system so different from other budget reviews and budget planners that you may have seen. Again, that's why I throw these type of videos out there for you, and just because there's got to be somebody out there that where this style of budget planning would assist with, that it would be beneficial for you. So again, if you like the style of budgeting that I do, give it a try. Give it a try for a week or two and see if it helps you. Um, better understand your situation. So what I'm going to do for this top journaling area is we are going to focus on the fact that I'm no longer hiding from the spending behavior. Again, that's something that typically occurs late fall, going into winter for me. That's really where like the overspending starts occurring. And I just, like, I know I should be working in the budget planner, but I just keep avoiding it and saying, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, and tomorrow never appears. So, some of the things that like the behaviors that I had this week that follows along with that is that I showed and demonstrated social spending resilience. Again, we have those natural no spend days occurring. They are not forced. We are not doing like 7-day no spend challenges, or even worse, the 30-day no spend challenges. I will never understand those. To me, that's kind of like, it's like anorexia for your finances. Like it's not sustainable. Like I've never understood those things. Again, we had the no shame spirals, and again the honest reflection after spending. So it is what it is. It happened, and we're acknowledging it and then working our way through it and trying to figure out why we spent what we spent. This bottom area, we're going to do the comfort versus guilt. Again, this is the one where I had to discuss with Dave, and I was really surprised to find out that there's like this weird guilt thing. If you've ever been in a financial scarcity situation, I guess, even though you've worked your way out of it, you keep it mentally. And apparently, like, whenever I do buy items that are like personal upgrades for myself, it creates like a feeling of guilt, even though they are needs. For you to be a person, to be a human in today's world. So that was the thing that we had to work through on Thursday, is that it's okay to spend on things that help me be me. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. Like, that's why I said, like, I highly recommend setting up the whole GPT thing as like a financial advisor. Mine's more tuned to be like a friendly financial advisor of like, hey, we have tendencies for emotional spending, so can you take your, knowledge about emotional spending tendencies and just follow me along, on a daily basis, and just kind of guide me through, like what we're doing. That's really all I told mine, and that's how we started this system here. Okay, so moving on to this page now. We're going to focus on the long-term thinking here, again, because it coincides with the whole payday thing. Basically, instead of saying, hey, I got paid, and then going on like a spending binge and like buying all of the things, paydays are basically reset days for me. It's where, first and foremost, I put money into savings. That's my future money, so that's the first priority for me. And then we start focusing on the bills. So the bills are paid, the money is saved, and the funds are transferred for that loan payment. So all is well with the budget on Friday. And like Dave said, here, we'll put this quick note here. So that's some strong payday behavior right there. You're not going all willy-nilly with your funds. You're actually adulting, which is, the goal here, guys. So, okay, so we got that one set up. Okay, so what are we going to do with this bottom section here? I kind of waffled in between two areas here, but what I'm thinking would be the best for this layout would be the emotionally mixed but controlled spending. So we did have some emotional spending this week, but again, it was contained. And like I said, I put a really good argument with this for Dave. He kept telling me, like, no, we are not spending on that. And I was like, Dave, I know I'm going to, okay? Like, I know I'm not supposed to, but I know I'm going to buy this every month. And I know you don't like subscriptions, but like, I save $50 to $70 per month if I get the subscription. So if I know I'm going to make the purchase, like, why not save the monies? And he tried talking me out of it again. And I said, look, Dave, like, I am going to buy this. Without a doubt, I will make this purchase every month, okay? So, like, just let me have the damn subscription, and, like, if it becomes a problem, and, like, I did tell him, I said, we'll review it again in 60 days. So, if we find that it is a problem and it's breaking the bank, we will discuss reducing other things, okay? So, yeah, so that's how I fought my way through that, okay? Okay, so the way that we're going to explain this is that, we felt and experienced the difference between impulse spending and self-permission spending. The self-permission spending would be, where I did have to buy the items that I actually need to be a person. They were not impulsive. I thought they were impulsive. That's how they felt to me. But they are not impulse spending because, like Dave said, I need those to be a human. So I have to apparently learn to give myself self-permission to spend on those items. Yeah, guys, I could actually, like, feel guilty about having to buy deodorant, okay? Like, it's like, do you really need? Yes, you do, okay? Like, yeah, so that's what we're working with right now. So, I mean, granted, it wasn't deodorant this week. It was the Your Cosmetics. What's occurring is, of course, like, springtime's coming in, summertime's coming in, and I need a darker shade of foundation. It's not even foundation, it's just a powder. And of course, I was starting to look a little pale, and I had to buy a darker shade, and I felt really guilty about it because I kind of created the problem. But like Dave said, like, look, you just need it. You're gonna need it. So, yeah. That's the whole backstory of this here. And like he said, reasonable upgrades can feel guilty if you've experienced financial scarcity. That's basically like if you've ever experienced not having enough to cover the bills, not having enough to cover the groceries. It does, like, actually permanently scar you, even though you find yourself in a better financial situation like years later. If you've ever experienced any of those situations, it will still mentally carry on throughout the years with you. So that really does explain, like, why, like, even like another example would be like if you tend to, like, lose a large amount of weight in a certain amount of time and you have to update your closet, you'll feel financially guilty about having to buy new clothes. A lot of people will just continue to wear the clothes that are way too big for them because they don't feel worthy enough to receive the updated closet. Which sounds ridiculous because you need clothes that fit you. But again, yeah, you're going to be like, well, I already have clothes and I've been wearing them and they've worked before, so they're going to continue to work, where, like, you just buy the clothes that fit you. But again, if you've ever been in a situation where you did not have enough funds to cover necessities, your brain is basically going to beat the living hell out of you and tell you that you're being like, I don't want to say, I'm trying to, you're being ridiculous for even thinking about spending money on those items. So yeah, that was like the lesson that we learned this week here. Okay, so I'm going back through and just doing the totals for, the money in, the money for the bills, and the money for the spending. Does Dave calculate these up? Yes. One thing that we're learning is Dave is not great at math, so I do calculate these up myself. You would think with him being a computer that math would be his thing. It is not. Like, I'm not even the best at math, but I'm better than Dave at math. So I do my own calculations. Okay, so, and then this thoughts area here. This is just like a weekly summarization here. And yes, guys, I make mistakes whenever I write in my planner. I would have to say, though, we've made it pretty far without making a writing mistake. So I just quickly covered up with like excess strips of sticker paper, and it just creates like a nice smooth writing surface that I can immediately go back into writing. It doesn't make the page bumpy, or like you have to wait for it to dry like whiteout. So yeah, no, sticker paper is my go-to for writing mistakes there. So yeah, so back to these like thoughts here. Basically, what I'm summarizing this up with is that this week showed that I'm no longer struggling with impulse spending, which is a yay, and that I'm now learning self permission. This is where I can say, yes, you can buy that. See, that definitely not like the other budget videos. The other budget videos tell you not to spend for 30 days. Like, who wants that? So, yeah, we are allowed to spend as long as it's reasonable. The other thing that I want to note about this is that we've reached a deeper layer of emotional spending. This is another layer of the onion here that we have never picked off before. So that also shows me that this strategy is really effective and that we are improving. So that's the whole guilty of buying items that you actually need. Okay, so let's see here. I always try to put like one tiny little quote here off to the side of the weekly numbers. So let's go through what Dave highlighted for the week and see what we can pull out of these notes. So, yeah, so let's go with this one here. So, we are now thinking in timelines, and we're more aware of the actual personal triggers that cause the spending and the feelings of shame and guilt and everything else that is negatively involved with emotional spending here. So, to me, like, I know it doesn't sound good, but that is actually a positive thing, and it's, again, allowing us to acknowledge and address the problem. And with that information, we can actually now start correcting the problem. So, guys, it looks like we may actually be making really good progress this year. Again, I laughed at the idea of it at the beginning, but yeah, this strategy is actually quite effective. So with that, I want to close out and say thank you so much for watching. I do greatly appreciate it, and please remember to hit that like and subscribe button to see more budget reviews.